Kurt Wagner has barely been Spider-Man for a few days and already he's making an enemies list as long as his blue tail. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Uncanny Spider-Man issue number 2 and find out together, shall we? So then, picking up directly from where the last issue had left off, Nightcrawler, in his new gig as Spider-Man, had actually come across his mother Mystique while defending a group of homeless people in the park. Mystique, you'll remember, was one of the many mutants who was almost killed during the attack on the 3rd annual Hellfire Gala. She hit her head and now she seems to be suffering from an oh-so-classic case of comic book amnesia. Though in fairness, it's actually a little bit more complex than that. It seems that Raven's memories are all starting to run together now. She's looking for her son, but has no idea that Nightcrawler is her son. She also gets very violent and aggressive when Kurt tries to take off his mask, and so he just kind of lets her run off. After all, the two haven't exactly had the best relationship over the years. And Kurt certainly has enough of his own problems to deal with at the moment, even though his internal little angel on his shoulder does reprimand him a bit, a fact of which is only becoming more and more of a recurring thing. It's also at this time, too, Nightcrawler ends up coming face to face with Dagger of the team Cloak and Dagger. It seems that Dagger heard about a new mutant Spider-Man defending the park and as such decided to investigate it for herself. After all, Cloak and Dagger have always kind of been mutant affiliates, so much to the point the Stark Sentinels have been hassling them all over the damn place because their powers really do seem like mutant powers. Also, Cloak isn't with Dagger right now because apparently they got into a little fight and he's busy sulking, which means she doesn't have anyone to teleport her around, so she just rides a little scooter. Nightcrawler is also really conflicted about actually opening up to Dagger and tell her everything that's been going on with the mutant community right now, how Xavier forced them to march to what might very well be their death, or that the only reason he's running around dressed as Spider-Man right now is because he's waiting for the heat to die down on a bunch of international murders that Kurt was forced to commit while under the control of Orchis. And hey, speaking of Orchis control, it's at that very moment the Rhino ends up crashing through the park looking to kill this new Spider-Man. Yes, it would seem that Dr. Adrian Toombs, one of Orchis's brand new acquisitions as director, has wasted absolutely no time shanghaiing a bunch of his old Sinister Six friends into working for the big massive mutant hate group. Here's the big twist though, Vulture actually didn't develop the mind control device that Orchis has been using to create their brand new mutant hunting hounds. That was actually the work of William Travers Jr. William Travis Sr. actually being something of a Marvel Comics deep cut, showing up in a bunch of different series as a different sort of super scientist. Now, it's not just the hounds that Nightcrawler has to contend with in his new role as Spider-Man. There's also Silver Sable and her army of mercenaries who have been dispatched to New York City to arrest Kurt, alive to be precise, so that he can be made to answer for all those world leaders that he killed. It's because of that Silver Sable has struck up a very tenuous alliance with Orchis that is only decaying by the moment once she realizes that this group isn't just filled with a bunch of evil mutant haters, but also people who have developed the technology to completely control someone else's mind. Because hey, even blood money mercenaries also have some scruples and some morals that they're not willing to break. At least not unless there's 2 more zeros added to their paycheck. Now, how exactly does this device work? Well, apparently it's an updated version of the device that Orchis put on Nightcrawler to go and kill those people. Basically, it's designed to activate the rage part of your brain that makes you way more susceptible to Orchis's anti-mutant propaganda. After that, they just kind of turn you loose and hope for the best. By the Beyonder, they've weaponized rage baiting, those bastards. Silver Sable eventually decides that she's sick of watching the Rhino drag his knuckles around and gets involved herself. It's here that Nightcrawler ends up throwing the trained mercenaries for a loop when he pulls out his magic sword. Apparently that wasn't in his file. Still though, Silver Sable and her people came prepared with an energy field that stops Kurt from using his teleportation, as well as some powerful knockout drugs. Though it would seem that both the shield and the drug idea weren't nearly as strong as Sable had hoped, because it's at that very moment Kurt is able to not only resist the poison, but teleport her underground. It's here that Kurt actually ends up impressing Silver Sable by showing just how worldly he is. After all, he traveled around all of Europe during his time in the circus, and he can spot a Simkarian accent like no one's business. Things get so hot and heavy, in fact, Silver Sable assumes that Kurt must also have some sort of special mutant pheromone power, but nah, that's just all Nightcrawler, baby. Ladies love him. This superhero meet-cute ends up getting interrupted, though, when a rageful Rhino ends up rampaging back into the scene looking to break poor Nightcrawler's back. Before he can be made humble, though, the Uncanny Spider-Man jumps into action to defend his new lady crush by teleporting Rhino way up in the air and letting him come crashing down on William Travers' control van. It's after that Nightcrawler slinks away into the darkness, leaving everyone very confused. It looks like if they want to catch the Uncanny Spider-Man, they're going to have to be trying way harder than this. And so that was Uncanny Spider-Man issue number 2, everyone, and overall I thought this issue was fun, but not necessarily anything revolutionary. I was actually really invested to seeing Kurt have to have a big reckoning with his mother Mystique, which is still probably going to happen, but boy did they really dispense with that possible storyline really early in this one. I will say though, the supporting cast in this book continues to be strong. I wasn't expecting to have such fun with Dagger. Silver Sable has been underutilized in Marvel books for a long time now, and hell, I even like the idea of Orchis under Vulture going out of their way to try and take control of other Spider-Man villains to send them after Kurt as the new Spider-Man. Beyond that though, there was nothing in this issue I would call particularly mind-blowing. You don't really get a better understanding of the greater threat facing mutant kind out at the moment, except for the fact that, information is hard to disseminate. So Kurt doesn't really know how many of his friends are alive right now, or what he can actually tell other people in the superhero community without putting their lives or the lives of other mutants at risk. But I've also seen all the other X-Men books do their own spin on that exact same thing, and this one didn't exactly bring anything new to the table, but still, I like what's here. Overall, I'd give this one a 7 out of 10. Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, thanking you so much for watching to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, why not check out my Amazon link down in the description. Yes, that's right, the Cape Joel channel officially has its own Amazon storefront now. You can pick up a comic or anything else for that matter, and if you did, you'd really be helping me in the channel. So with that out of the way everyone, I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.